What's new with national renewable targets? A critical analysis. The pressing need for a significant transformation in renewable energy targets is undeniable. Yet the reality is, not much has changed in the national renewable targets since the COP28 conference. This decade presents a golden opportunity. Tripling global renewable energy capacity is, without a doubt, the full action we can take for the climate. Although 133 countries signed a global commitment at COP28 to triple renewables by 2030, few nations have integrated this ambition into their national agendas. What's going on? 2 years after COP28? So what does the current landscape look like? As of July 2025, it's rather unimpressive. A mere 7 countries outside the EU have modified their renewable targets for 2030, and overall, out of 22 countries adjusting their goals, in the European Union, 15 countries made changes while finalizing their National Energy and Climate Plans, NECPs. Yet most countries around the world continued on their routine planning paths without an urgent response to the COP28 education. Currently, the cumulative targets of these countries reflect only a 2% increase compared to the commitments made at COP28, culminating in a total of 7.4 terawatts, TW. This is a far cry from the 11 TW target critical for fulfilling the pledged tripling goal. In fact, as things stand, the global targets still merely indicate a doubling of the renewable capacity, spotlighting major electricity producers. Interestingly, among the top 20 electricity-producing nations worldwide, 9 still have yet to revise their renewable targets. Notably, just China and South Africa appear positioned to make updates in 2025. Other significant players, including Canada, Russia, Turkey, and the United States, have not indicated any intentions to adjust their targets this year, leaving many in a state of uncertainty about their future contributions to renewable energy goals. Why are national targets important? Elevating national commitments, then following through with swift action, is crucial if we hope to make the global tripling target achievable. The COP28 agreement not only drives progress on climate initiatives, but also enhances energy security and potential economic growth. Clear and ambitious national targets are essential. They provide a roadmap for investments, facilitate planning for energy systems, and help fulfill collective climate commitments. Remarkably, these targets serve a dual purpose. They ensure renewable projects are built more strategically and foster a stable environment for companies to invest in necessary supply chains. Where do we stand now? According to both the International Renewable Energy Agency, IRENA, and the International Energy Agency, IEA, achieving a tripling of renewable energy capacity to at least 11,000 gigawatts by 2030 is pivotal to remain aligned with the 1.5 degrees Celsius climate pathway. Following the pivotal December 2023 pledge at COP28, this ambition was echoed by the Global Energy Storage and Grids Pledge signed by 65 nations during COP29 in November 2024. Despite the positive global momentum demonstrated via agreements, the updates by November 2023, Ember's examination indicated that governments collectively aimed for a mere doubling of renewable capacity, forecasting a rise to approximately 7.3 terabytes by 2030, only to see the aggregated targets increase to 7.4 terabytes in 2024, a paltry response to the pressing need for renewables. Few countries have made adjustments. After almost 2 years since the COP28 agreements, the reality is alarming. Of the 22 countries that amended their targets, only a handful outside the EU made significant changes. In the EU, updates were made primarily as part of the NECP process designed to synchronize EU-wide aims. However, even among major EU markets such as Germany and Italy, there has been little movement recently, conveying a sense of stagnation. A deeper analysis of national targets. Globally, the sum of national targets still reflects a vision of merely doubling, rather than tripling capacity. Following COP28, the total capacity target saw an increase to only 7,380 gigawatts, just a 2% improvement. The gap is glaring, with the cumulative capacity required to meet tripling goals persistently hovering around 3,700 gigawatts. Several major electricity markets have also been slow to update their targets. Here are some notable observations. China. An update is anticipated in the upcoming Nationally Determined Contribution, or during China's 5-year plan review. United States. Little expectation exists for updates to renewable energy targets, given the absence of entrenched national commitments and policy. India. Contrarily, India's National Electricity Plan positions it well ahead, targeting over a 300% increase in renewable capacity by 2030. Russia. Unfortunately, Russia has not shown signs of introducing a 2030 target, continuing a trend of inaction. Japan. Specifying that it will maintain its current target levels for renewable energy through 2030, Japan has likewise left its plans relatively unchanged. Canada and Saudi Arabia. While Canada lacks an explicit commitment, Saudi Arabia aims for a 50% renewable contribution to its electricity mix by 2030, indicative of its ambitious goals. The importance of raising targets. As we navigate the complexities of climate change, national renewable energy targets can serve as pivotal instruments for fostering progress, not just for climate goals. They bolster energy security and stimulate economic growth by providing a solid commitment to expanding renewables, which in turn creates certainty for investment in clean energy. Additionally, careful planning encourages the development of policies and infrastructure necessary for the transition to reliable electric systems. Despite the overwhelming global agreement to triple renewable capacity by 2030, represented through COP28 and COP29 pledges, the reality remains that only a minority of nations, mainly in the EU, have acted upon these updates. Most countries are still moving through established planning cycles, paying scant attention to COP promises. The question remains, will governments rise to the occasion and adjust their ambitions? Or will they continue to falter in their commitments to addressing the climate crisis? We encourage you to share your thoughts below. Do you agree or disagree with the current trajectory of national targets? Why the global pledge to triple clean energy is falling behind. The ambitious commitment to significantly increase global clean energy is currently falling short of expectations. In a bold move, nearly 200 countries pledged to enhance the deployment of wind and solar energy during the COP28 climate conference. However, a mere 16 of these nations have actually raised their renewable energy targets since that pivotal moment. This stagnation in progress raises serious concerns about the global community's ability to combat rising temperatures and could hinder the transition to cleaner energy technologies. A recent analysis by Ember, a respected energy think tank, highlights these alarming trends. Katia Altieri, an electricity analyst at Ember, emphasizes that the essence of national renewable energy targets extends beyond mere deployment. She states, the ultimate goal is not just to increase the amount of renewables, but to ensure they are developed. Setting clear renewable energy targets is crucial, as it instills confidence in investors, aids governments in effectively integrating wind and solar power into their energy grids, and helps avoid the risk of stranded fossil fuel assets. But here's where it gets controversial. Are these targets merely symbolic, or do they represent a genuine commitment to change? As we reflect on these developments, it's essential to consider the implications of inaction. What do you think? Are we doing enough to meet our clean energy goals, or is it time for a more aggressive approach? Share your thoughts in the comments. Most countries fall short on UN climate pledge to triple renewables. The alarming reality is that many nations are neglecting their commitments to the United Nations climate pledge, which aims to triple the global renewable energy capacity by the end of this decade. climate experts have revealed that most governments around the world have not taken significant steps to fulfill this 2023 promise. This inaction poses a serious threat to our clean energy objectives, as current projections indicate that we are likely to miss our targets. The continued dependence on fossil fuels contradicts the urgent goal of keeping global. As a result, the total of national renewable energy targets worldwide has only increased by a mere 2% since the COP28 meeting. While this slight uptick could potentially double the global renewable energy capacity from 2022 levels to 7.4 terawatts (TW) by 2030, it still falls significantly short of the 11 TW required to meet the UN's tripling goal. The Ember report emphasizes, tripling global renewables capacity by 2030 is the single biggest action this decade to stay on track for the 1.5°C climate pathway. Despite the groundbreaking agreement reached at COP28 to achieve 11,000 gigawatts (GW) of renewable energy by 2030, national targets have largely remained stagnant and insufficient. Beyond the EU, only 7 additional countries have revised their renewable energy goals since the pact was established, with Mexico and Indonesia notably scaling back their ambitions. Among the nations that have not made progress are the United States, China, and Russia, 3 of the largest energy consumers globally, collectively responsible for nearly half of the world's annual carbon emissions. The future of the global renewable energy agreement may hinge on China's actions, as it is anticipated to finalize its 15th five-year energy plan later this year, which will cover the period from 2026 to 2030. Meanwhile, both Washington and Moscow currently lack renewable energy targets for 2030, and Ember suggests that their leaders are unlikely to establish any. In India, while clean energy targets have not changed, the nation aims to develop 500 gigawatts of renewable energy by 2030, aligning with the global objective to triple renewable capacity. Interestingly, Vietnam has emerged as a leader in renewable energy ambition since COP28, committing to an increase of 86 gigawatts by the decade's end. Australia and Brazil have also made pledges to boost their renewable energy production by 18 gigawatts and 15 gigawatts, respectively. The United Kingdom has enhanced its renewable energy strategy, promising an additional 7 gigawatts by 2030 to achieve the Labour government's goal of a nearly carbon-free electricity system. In South Korea, renewable energy is projected to expand by 9 gigawatts by 2030. But here's where it gets controversial. Are these commitments enough to combat climate change effectively? What do you think? Are we doing enough, or is it time for a more aggressive approach? Share your thoughts in the comments.